I finished my MBA in the best business school in the Netherlands, and here are some lessons that I've learned. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Really happy to see you back. And today we're talking about business education. I graduated from the Rotterdam School of Management this March, and I spent practically all 2021 studying. First things first, let me explain you what MBA actually means. MBA stands for Master of Business Administration, and it's essentially a business-related master's degree. If you're already working in a company, you're probably working in a certain function. For example, in finance, in IT, in operations, in marketing, or in HR. And usually, I would even say quite often, people work in one function. Maybe they had experience of working in two functions if they made a career switch somewhere along the way. But in a work setting, at work, you cannot learn all the functions that forms a business, because quite often your work is allocated within a particular function. So MBA gives you a 360-degree outlook on how business operates. It provides you with all the necessary knowledge, and it doesn't matter in which function you used to work before. My experience of doing an MBA was absolutely transformative to me personally, and of course I have endless academic insights from it, but today I want to focus on non-academic ones. All the best learnings regarding work, team, self-awareness that I consider worth sharing with you. Here are my 10 best ones. The first one: your emotions in the team are contagious, both good and bad ones. This means that you need to be aware of your emotional impacts on the people around you. During the program, we have been formed in different teams with different people from different cultures, countries, backgrounds, and we had to do a lot of work with these people we barely knew at that point. And this is when I've learned that if, for example, we're working on a subject that I feel comfortable with and I'm already skilled in, or just something that goes naturally to me, I feel very confident, very relaxed, and it's contagious. I make the team feel the same way, but it works the other way around as well. So for example, in the first term, we had a finance classes and it was quite tough for me. And I remember being in a breakout room with the team, highly frustrated by the task I just don't understand. And even though we started at a cheerful note, in the end everyone was super grumpy. And it took some time for me to realize that it was actually my impact. If I'm complaining out loud about how bad is a task or how unclear is this class to me, it's really easy for everyone around me to pick it up. So I started to be much more mindful about how I express my emotions in my team. Being emotionally contagious is a superpower, but if you have it, you need to use it wisely. The second one: valuing opinions of people who disagree with you is in fact beneficial. And to be honest, I was avoiding this insight for many years. Sometimes at work, even if I would listen to other people's opinions carefully, deep inside I always knew that my opinion is the correct one. I did this, I don't know, out of the politeness. I always was confident that my opinion is the right one. And to be honest, quite often my opinion was the right one. And because of that, it even deepened this concept in my mind that in the end, I'm the smartest person in the room and I know what's right. But MBA experience showed me so many times that it's simply far from the truth. And it's not only a particular opinion of other people that can be more correct or more relevant. It's even the mindset. People with different backgrounds are genuinely looking at the same problem differently than you. They may see weak points that you cannot notice. And I think I had to, in fact, experience me not being right for so many times to actually make this mindset shift and honestly starting valuing other people's opinions more. The next one: navigating in an overwhelming amount of information and choices is a skill that you need to train. Especially at the beginning of the program, we had enormous amount of tasks. We had a lot of subjects, a lot of homework, endless readings. And of course, I'm a good student. I paid for that education. I was aiming to do it all, to read it all. And at some point, I started to think that it may not be realistically feasible to do all of that. And for some time, I was even thinking, how disbalanced is the program? This is obviously too much that a person can handle, even if doing this full time. But after some time, I realized that it does not differ from a real life. In reality, at work, you always have endless amount of information. You have a lot of options to choose from. And quite often, it makes you feel overwhelmed. And you need to train yourself to navigate through that, to pick and choose what you need, not to get distracted by every single thing. And yes, sometimes it's painful to say no to certain things, but there is a limit of time and energy that we have, right? We cannot choose everything. And this is a skill that the program helped me to train. The next one, strategy books always have chess on their cover, and nothing can be more far from the truth. For some reason, when we think about strategy, we usually think of a chess game. It demands a lot of mental effort to think, to predict what the next move of your opponent will be. And this is what is associated with the business type of strategy. But here's a trick. In chess, you know all the rules of the game, and everything you use to play is always visible and it's on the board. But the business reality is the opposite. No one tells you the rules of the game, and even if you learn it yourself, it may change at any time, and you won't even know it. There are so many factors that influence the reality, it's almost never possible to keep it all visible at the same time. The real business environment is ambiguous and unpredictable. That's why, don't be fooled, strategy is not a chess game. The next one, people around you have different motivations, and this is alright. Sometimes it's hard to keep in mind that people may have different motivations that you do. For example, on the program, some people like me, they came for the knowledge and for a multicultural experience. Other people used it as a leverage to relocate to Europe, and some just used it purely for the networking. But the problem is you don't know that, and if you ended up in one team, for some reason we tend to assume that everyone are driven by the same motivators as we are. And this is a big mistake, because some behaviors of the people around you in your team may be deeply frustrating to you just because you simply don't understand the reasoning behind this behavior. No, they won't spend another hour or two working at a team assignment because achieving the highest grade is not their goal. It's not why they're here. So keeping that in mind and accepting other people's motivations and the fact that they're different from mine was a big learning for me. The next one, you need to be able to work with the person even in the situation of disagreement. First of all, people are having different opinions at work, and this is absolutely fine. And we need to stay calm and be able to work productively even in these situations. Of course, we put an effort to resolve a disagreement with this person, but sometimes in real working life, it's not always easy to achieve. And even more than that, sometimes the disagreement is that deep on that conceptual level that it may not even be feasible to resolve. So for situations like that, we need to develop a skill that would allow us to be able to say, I disagree with you, but I'm ready to try it your way, and I won't sabotage it. I will genuinely try it your way. I put my honest effort into it despite the fact that I disagree. Unfortunately, in real life, not everything is easy to resolve, and sometimes we need to work in that condition as well. That was a big learning for me. The next one, sustainability is not a greenwashing. The motto of RSM is to be a force for a positive change, and sustainability aspect is a signature feature of the program. To be honest, until this day, I don't particularly shine in sustainability conversations, so I don't think it's possible for me to convince a person that sustainability is the thing. It's not that I used to think before that sustainability is a greenwashing, but I was kind of not exactly sure what parts of what we understand as sustainability is real and what is just for the publicity. Because to be honest, yes, a lot of companies are doing a lot of things that are marked as for the sustainability, just for their customers to see that their hands are clean. But after learning about a lot of different approaches to how to do a business, I can indeed see a shift from pure profit, it's all only about a money focus, to a wider business horizon. It's still kind of a little bit tough for me to have these conversations with people who view all sustainability efforts as a greenwashing, but at least for myself, I understand it much better now. And yes, it resonates with me. Sustainability is a thing. The next one is, please learn public speaking. A lot of us, especially who work in tech, are avoiding public speaking as much as possible, because public speaking is a concentrated fear. It's the worst that could happen to you. But here's the thing, at some point it becomes a part of a job. And I had a lot of experience of public speaking during the program, and now I know that maybe yes, you won't be 100% comfortable with public speaking, meaning it doesn't matter how many times you do it, you will get nervous anyway. But it's just a part of the job. You cannot avoid it. And the sooner you've learned how you should approach it personally, what works for you, what helps you to make the public speaking experience not that intense, the better. The next one, and this is a big one, if you want to achieve everything all by yourself, you will probably fail. This was an eye-opener to me. For some reason, I used to think that the only fair way is to just do your job well and wait for a chance for a career jump. The alternatives felt like cheating. It's what usually people call politics at work. You know, people are like, oh, I don't do politics at work. Now, here's the thing. Politics is simply to have people on your side. And there is nothing bad about it. You need to have people who are on your side. You need to have people that you could ask for help if you need it. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. There is a story about a woman who used to have a good career and unfortunately she was about to get fired. She could be able to keep and sustain her position in the organization, but for that she would need to ask for help, ask for some of her coworkers to do something for her, to say a few good things to a manager, for example. And because involving others and asking for help felt like a politics to her, she didn't do it and she decided to fight it all by herself. In the end, she lost her job and spent several years recovering her career, only because she thought that the only right way is to do it yourself and you shouldn't ask for help. So this was a really big eye-opener to me personally, because I also used to think that there is a fair way and unfair way if you ask someone to help you, which is simply not true. And here's the last one. If someone is overly pragmatic and cynical regarding soft skills, even if the person is quite high on the career ladder, it's an immaturity sign. At some periods of time in my working experience, I've been surrounded by overly cynical managers who didn't value anything soft, only hard. Meaning self-reflecting on your behavior or supporting your employees by coaching them felt like a waste of time to them. They used to say, it has nothing to do with the actual job that I do. I do the thing, you do the thing, and leave me alone. And because these people used to be my managers and my managers' managers, I used to read it as a role model. I used to think that, yes, this is how an adult experienced manager should approach work. But I think I've learned how not to be fooled by a title and identify that sometimes people, even managers, just didn't develop a good enough soft skills. And them being cynical is not the sign of them being smart. It's actually a sign of them being soft-skilled, immature. And that's alright, it happens, and I shouldn't be fooled by that. I really hope you liked this video. MBA was an amazing experience, and there is no way I would get this amazing learnings without this program. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more videos. Bye!